I would like to introduce Ed Keller, CEO of Engagement Labs and creator of Total Social. Welcome, Ed.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Thank you for coming.
There we go.
Well, in a nutshell, can you describe to us what is Total Social, and more importantly, how does it enhance our client offer?
So Total Social is the only platform of its type that integrates social media conversation about brands with offline or word of mouth conversation about brands. Many of our clients and many of Kantar clients are all going to be familiar with social media. Many will think that's where all the conversation about brands takes place these days. But it turns out that there are many more conversations that still take place offline, and the integration of online and offline is what it takes to really become a successful social brand. So some of the things that we've learned that are quite important and meaningful to clients and prospective clients are that, first of all, not only are there many more conversations offline than conversations online, but there's almost no correlation between the two, and yet they each contribute about equally to positive business outcomes. So if you're a brand and you're paying careful attention to social media and you think that's reflective of the conversation in the population at large, then you're incorrect. You're at a minimum only taking advantage of about half the opportunity to be a really powerful social brand. Or worst case, you're drawing conclusions and inferences about what's going on in social media and thinking that reflects the population as a whole, and it often does not. So the importance of what we're doing is that we are filling out and rounding out the picture for what it means to be a successful social brand, and we've created predictive algorithms that allow us to tie those results to business outcomes, whether that's proving the ability of Total Social metrics to predict sales, or whether it's about proving their impact on brand health and making a more robust brand guidance program.
Interesting. So can you share with us a couple of examples of success stories in the US that you've been working on with analytics and Total Social combined?
Yeah, so I'll give a couple of examples if that's okay. So we work with one of the big mobile providers in the US. It's a brand that has been very focused on social media. They've had a focus on millennials, and they felt social media was the best way to be able to reach those millennials. But when they looked at their performance against their sort of two leading competitors, it turns out that while they were doing quite well on social media, they were trailing by quite a bit in terms of offline conversations, and they had a real blind spot to this. They thought all the action was on social media. We did analytics work for them, and we helped them to see that when it comes to new customer acquisition, the single most important metrics that matter are offline volume, how much they're being talked about offline. So that helped to reinforce the importance of this. We were also to help them to see that if they could get to parity with their two leading competitors in terms of their volume or the amount of offline conversation that they get, it was worth tens of millions of dollars of incremental revenue to them. They could expect to increase their new customer acquisition by as much as 5%. So we're able to get very quantitative with them and really help to close the loop between what they're doing and what the outcomes are in terms of success. And then we worked with them to help figure out what's the roadmap for improving their performance offline, and something completely unexpected was revealed. This is a company that's been very focused on millennials. We're able to show them that the demographic group that's talking most about them offline is actually more of a 35 to 54-year-old segment, so an older segment that now they thought, okay, now I got to focus more on offline, and I got to come to learn to understand what this new demographic group is all about. And we worked with them closely to do that, and they ended up creating a whole new product line that would appeal to that particular demographic. It's doing very well in the marketplace.
Great.
So that's one example. A second one, if I can, is something that we did jointly with Kantar in the US, and it was on behalf of a leading beverage company, soft drink company. They said to us, okay, can you take your Total Social metrics and create analytical models that would tie it to our sales data on the one hand and our brand health data on the other. We were able to determine that working collaboratively with the two analytics teams, that Total Social was driving about 15% of their sales,
Mhm.
with 2/3 of that coming from offline conversation, 1/3 from online, and it was contributing to about 35% of their brand health. Again, with about 2/3 of that coming from offline, 1/3 from online. And together we created quite a good blueprint in terms of the levers that brand could pull
Mhm.
in order to improve their performance and therefore to drive growth.
But I'd like to thank you for taking your time and talking to us now.
Great, it's my pleasure, thanks.
You're welcome.